Hi, Cancer. So this is your October reading, and I am going to see how things are looking for the month of October. I'm Jody with Soul Purpose Tarot, so I want to say thanks for stopping by. I know there's lots of other people you could be watching, so I'm happy you are watching me right now. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down 4 or 5 tarot cards, try to get an idea of what kind of energy I'm looking for the month of October, and then I'll kind of decide if it's romance or if it's career or whatever, and do some clarifying on those. And there's the first card. So that's the King of Swords in the reverse position. And there's some more that wanted to come out. So I feel like this one needs to go here. All of these are coming up in reverse, which could be good or bad. So let's see what's going on here. One more for Cancer for the month of October, please. And I'm going to take both of those. All right. So the first one is the King of Swords in reverse. You want your swords to be upright because that means you're having good thoughts. But right at the moment, you're having a lot of negative thoughts about something. Maybe by the time I get done with this, we'll know what. Okay, so negative thoughts. The second one is the Two of Pentacles, which I feel like you're doing juggling. I feel like probably what you're stressed out about is you're doing some juggling with money. Because as you can see, this is a guy, and Pentacles means money. And so probably you are in the process of robbing Peter to pay Paul, as they say. And you're trying to figure out how you're going to pay all the bills. And that's probably why you are in a negative mindset. Although the Ten of Swords, now... So if the Ten of Swords was in the upright position, that would mean that you were done with the cycle. But because it's in the reverse position, you're still stressed out. You just need to let go of the negative thoughts. And probably at night, you're thinking about everything that's going on. And I'm guessing that you're up at night. You're not sleeping well. And the one thing that you have got to do when you find yourself in that position of starting to think that, you almost have to think about hitting a recorder and hit the off button. Stop. I'm not going to think that. I'm not going to keep going down that road. And only you are in control of your thoughts. Nobody else can be. So you've got to get a control over the dark thoughts and what's keeping you up at night. The Three of Wands was in the reverse position. So this just feels like you're doing a lot of self-reflection. If it was in the upright position, you're looking out at the world and you're feeling like you missed the boat. But because it was in the reverse position, I feel like you are doing a lot of self-reflection. You are asking yourself how you could have handled this better. What could I have done to make this not happen to me? And I feel like the word again is coming to mind. Whatever is going on has happened to you before and you didn't learn your lesson the first time. And you're asking yourself now, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I keep getting myself in this situation of having money issues and not being able to budget my money and all of that stuff? And most likely it's because it's just kind of like eating more than gaining weight, eating more calories than you burn in a day, spending more money than you should. It also feels like somebody loaned somebody some money and they didn't get paid back, and they're really mad at themselves because they did that, because for some reason you felt like you could trust this person. Somebody got in a bind and you ended up enabling them, and it's like you loaned them a couple $1,000s because you felt sorry for them, and then they never paid you back, and you're regretting that decision, and you're kicking yourself in the pants right now because if you hadn't have loaned them that money, you wouldn't be having a hard time yourself. That's That's what's feeling like right at the moment. Page of Pentacles was in the reverse position. So Page of Pentacles in the upright position would have been some new money coming in. This just feels like it's more like money going out the window at the moment. And then the Death. Okay, so the Death card was in the reverse position, which means you're not at the end of the cycle yet. Death card usually means that something is stopping and it's the end of a cycle and you're starting new. So this is a case of you're still going through this. You haven't learned your lesson yet, and you've got a ways to go before that lesson is to be learned. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to say that. That sucks. Sorry, guys. I'm going to do some, let me think here. This is not romance related whatsoever. This all has to do with finances. What can we do? I'm thinking here. I'm thinking about, I'm going to do some, God, I'm trying to think what I can do to give you more guidance than what I've already said. You've got yourself into a financial bind. You did it to yourself. You're beating yourself up for it because you didn't learn your lesson. What other advice can I give you on that? Change your thoughts, change your mind. That's the only thing right now is you just like really need to work on boundaries. Okay. That's okay. So if you need to work on boundaries, that would be when someone comes to you and they are asking you for money and you are enabling them. You need to say no when, okay, all right. I'm like, sorry. I'm like, boundaries. Boundaries come in all ways, shapes, and form. Boundaries happen when someone asks you for money and you know you shouldn't do it because you're enabling them and you should have said no. Boundaries also happen when you are spending money that you know you shouldn't be spending, when you're, I could take this advice myself. When you're shopping to ease or fill the hole, you've got some sort of hole inside of you in your heart that you're trying to fill. Almost everybody, has some sort of hole in their heart that they're always trying to fill. Some people use alcohol, some use food, some use shopping, some use drugs. Whatever the case is, you need to work on healing that emptiness in your soul. Then you won't be spending money like you shouldn't be. You won't, everything has to do with boundaries here. So, okay, I'm going to use these cards. This is healing, I can't remember what they're called. Something, Whispers of Healing. I need a drink. So, let's get them all in the right position here. This is from last time. I will say, honestly, in my 20s and 30s, I was one of these people who, I had a big giant hole in my heart, in my soul, and I did shop. I overate. I overspent. I got myself majorly into debt. When I was selling real estate, good Lord, money would come in and out and in and out and in and out, and I would get a big check or whatever, and then I'd go spend a bunch, and then I would feel bad because I went and spent a bunch. And so when I talk about this, trust me, and May of last year, May of 2017, I started a weight loss program and lost 70 pounds. So many of my years I ate to fill that hole. Many of those years I spent money to fill that hole. There's many things that I have done in my younger years to try to fill that gaping unhealthy, feeling sorry for myself, not feeling whole, WHOLE, not feeling whole, and filling that hole, HOLE. You get what I'm saying. So I'm sorry you're there. Right now, the lesson is about gaining self-worth and feeling like you are a complete person the way you are, and trying to figure out how to you know, I don't know where, put putty in that spot instead of using shopping or eating or drinking or drugs or whatever to make yourself feel better, because you know it doesn't make you feel better. The next day you're more depressed than you ever were, which probably makes you go spend a bunch more money that you shouldn't be spending, or eating a whole gallon of ice cream. Whatever the case is, you get where I'm going with this. So let's figure out what. Listen to your body. The next one is release. The next one is choice. And the next one is grateful. Okay, so listen to your body. So the one thing that there's some sort of anxiety that you feel that causes you to overeat, overspend, drink alcohol. It's a numbing effect, okay? So when you feel that feeling, feel it instead of trying to bury it. And Brené Brown has Brené Brown is awesome. If you don't know who she is, you really need to check her out. She has a ton of books out there. The Gifts of Imperfection was one of them. We did that in book club last time. Now we're doing Braving the Wilderness. She has some awesome TED Talks. If you've never heard of TED Talks, TED, TED Talks on YouTube. And do Brené Brown's, she's got 2 or 3 on there. And one of them was I can't remember what they were called. But she is a shame and vulnerability researcher, which sounds really boring, but she's an awesome speaker, and she has awesome stuff that she talks about. And she talks about the United States being the most overweight, drug addicted, sleep deprived, this, that, and the other, because we are all trying to numb the pain of feeling inferior and imperfect. And I can truly say, listening to her stuff a few years back resonated with me, hugely resonated with me. And I put some of her advice to work in getting to where I am now. So Brené Brown, it's Brene, Brené Brown, and on TED Talks. If I remember it, I'll put the link below. She's awesome, really, really awesome. And the next one is release, which, you know, if you feel the feelings that are coming up and not try to numb them, they will eventually release. Just feel the feelings and let them go through. Usually for me, if I'm feeling negative, the next day I'll be okay, for the most part. Now that wasn't the way in the past, but release that feeling of feeling inferior and imperfect, and don't beat yourself up. I mean, none of us are perfect, really. And anybody that acts like they are is full of shit, and you know it and I know it. It's a choice. It is a choice to not do what you know is going to temporarily make you feel better. And it is a choice to go ahead and do it. Eventually you'll get tired of feeling bad about yourself. You know, you do that enough, hopefully you finally get to the point where you stop doing that. And just be grateful that that lesson was brought up for you to learn, and that you were able to move forward through it without, you know, destroying anything more in your life. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is, I feel like these are my messages from guides. Your higher self, your oversoul, your spirit guides, your past relatives, any sort of messages that they may give you that could help. And I'm going to take them. There's 3 of them that popped out. So, one of them is Pillar of Light. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. If you're watching these videos right now, you're trying to figure out how to make your life better. And you're probably getting some motivation from these videos, hopefully. And raising your vibrations will make you feel better about yourself, will make you feel better, period, so you don't feel the need to shop like a nutcase and spend all of your money and, buy a bunch of crap that you don't need. So work on raising your vibrations, and that's going to eventually help you get out of that, drinking when you shouldn't be, or eating when you shouldn't be, or shopping when you shouldn't be. Who knows? Maybe you're a sex addict or something, and that's what you do to make yourself feel better. The next one says, Priestess, how are you being called to step up and lead? Well, you're being called to step up to lead, because if you're doing all of this stuff, you are not setting a good example for anybody in your family. If you have kids, they're watching you do this kind of stuff. Do you want them to end up doing the same thing? Do you want them to turn to something to numb themselves as they get older? People watch you, and everybody has somebody that looks up to them. So maybe you need to think of it that way, as who's looking up to you, and what do I need to do to be a better influence or a better mentor to somebody that could be watching what you're doing. And the last one says, Inner Temple, devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. I think everybody in the world right now probably needs to do some heart opening meditations, heart chakra opening, anything to open your heart. One, because when you open your heart, you're going to in turn learn how to love yourself. And when you learn how to love yourself, you don't need to numb in whatever way you're doing that. So there's a lot of things you can do. But, that's kind of the bottom line, is I feel like you're numbing something that because you don't feel whole, and you need to figure out what is missing, what's the missing piece, and work on that. That's kind of where you're at right now. This is your life lesson. Let's see. The Death card is the only major arcana in here, and that is what's the word I want to look for? That is about transformation that hasn't taken place yet. So you're in the middle of a major life transformation right now. Everything else has to do with things that can be changed. Pentacles, swords, wands, those are energies that are fluid and can be changed from day to day. But the Death card is a life journey, and you are in the middle of a life journey, and you are just going to have to, hopefully next month we can flip that around, and that means that cycle is over. Anyway, I hope you found something valuable out of this, Cancers. I'm Jody with Soul Purpose Tarot. If you want a specific reading with your life, please send me a message. I do past life readings also, and I will see you mid-October. Thanks.